Hello, my name is Dr Lesley Goff, musculoskeletal and animal physiotherapist, and today I'm going to give you a tutorial on how to stretch your dog. For those of you who are recovering from an injury or perhaps have neck or back pain associated with a sedentary occupation, your physiotherapist will often prescribe you stretches. It's the same for athletes. If you're just a recreational athlete or even an elite athlete, you know the benefits of stretching for your athletic performance and also for injury management. And dogs are all athletes, from your puppy chasing a ball or a frisbee across the yard to the more elite canine athletes such as flyball dogs and agility dogs. All these dogs benefit from regular stretching. Dogs who work benefit from stretching. These are your dogs with occupations, your herding dogs, your police dogs. And dogs that age benefit from stretching as well. We know as we get older, we feel a little bit stiffer, and stretching can be something very useful you can do to help yourself move a little bit better as you age. It's exactly the same with our beautiful old canine companions. They can really benefit from regular stretching. So once you become familiar with stretching your dog and you get used to the feel of the stretches on your dog, you can even start to pick up when there's a slight dysfunction or a muscular stiffness, and this can be really useful for your dog's musculoskeletal health because you might even be able to pick up when there's an injury or a problem developing. And apart from that, it's just a really nice bonding time with your dog. To spend time with your dog developing this stretching program can be beneficial for both parties. My assistant today is Storm. Storm's one of our Siberian Huskies from our sled dog racing team, Dirt Paws Racing. So he's an athletic dog. And you might notice that every time dogs get up from lying down or sitting down, they stretch. So they're a lot more switched on than we are. Except when your dog's aging, perhaps with arthritis or another age-related injury, you'll notice they can't stretch as well as they used to be able to. And this is where regular stretching can be really, really helpful for your dog. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you some stretches for the legs and a couple of spinal stretches. So let's get into the tutorial. So let's start with the front limb. When you're doing stretches with your dog, it is nice to have the dog lying down and relaxed, but it is not absolutely necessary. In stretching the front leg of the dog, we're going to hold the leg under the elbow and the paw. And the first stretch is taking the whole front leg forward like so. Now, you'll notice with the stretch that I'm going to be holding this for about 30 seconds. The purpose of stretching is to lengthen the contractile part of muscles. And research shows if you want to lengthen the sarcomeres, which are what makes up the contractile part of the muscle, you need to do a low load prolonged hold stretch. So what that means is the stretches are gentle, they're not forced, and they're held for a reasonable time. For animals, it's quite reasonable to hold the stretch for about 30 seconds if you can. So what this stretch is doing is stretching the tricep muscles, all the muscles that come up the back of the elbow to the shoulder blade region, what we call latissimus dorsi, and the trapezius area up here, attaching the limb to the thoracic spine of the dog. It's also stretching the muscles at the back of the forearm and into the flexor part of the paw. So this is the first foreleg stretch for your dog. Then we want to stretch the muscles on the opposite side of the dog's front limb. We're going to be stretching the extensor muscle group and all the muscles at the front of the shoulder and some of the muscles that connect into the neck of the dog. For this stretch, the wrist is nice and relaxed, and we support under the wrist and underneath the elbow, and we're just taking the dog's front leg backwards. And again, we're holding it for about 30 seconds. It's a sustained, gentle stretch. You're not causing pain to the dog. You're certainly not bouncing or performing any rhythmical movements when you're doing a stretch. So that's your prolonged low load stretch for the front leg of the dog. The next stretch is stretching the muscles that run from the inside of the dog's foreleg to the trunk of the dog. And we're going to support underneath the elbow and the wrist again, and in a very comfortable manner, take the dog's limb away from the body. And we hold again, not causing any discomfort or pain to the dog, for about 30 seconds. And then we want to stretch the muscles on the outside of the dog's limb, the deltoid muscle, the supraspinatus, infraspinatus, and the lateral muscles of the dog's arm here. We can do that by, we're going to use the right hand side leg on the opposite side, stabilizing underneath the elbow and the wrist. We're bringing the leg across the body. So in this way, we're stretching the muscles on the outside of the dog's shoulder and limb. And again, holding for about 30 seconds without any undue stress or pain to the dog. Sustained hold. Now we're going to stretch the muscles at the back of the dog's leg. We've got the calf muscle, or the gastrocs, and the Achilles tendon, the hamstring muscle group, leading up into the gluteal muscles, which all attach onto the top of the pelvis, and also the flexor tendons underneath the dog's paw here. To stretch the back of the dog's leg, we are going to bend the knee or the stifle first towards the ribs of the dog. We're going to keep that there and then apply the stretch or the straightening of the leg via the hock, or the back of the dog's ankle, and that's really comfortable for the dog as he moves, but he's quite happy to hold that there for 30 seconds. And that's a nice stretch for those muscle groups. Stretch the muscles at the front of the dog's back leg, the quadriceps, even the hip flexors, which connect all the way up to the spine of the dog, the muscles at the front of the tibia, and down into the extensor aspect of the paw. We're going to stabilize underneath the knee or the stifle of the dog and underneath the hock or the ankle, and we're going to take the whole leg back into this position, and that's his comfortable position to hold for 30 seconds. It's your low load, prolonged hold stretch. And remember, when you're doing these stretches, you really need to be able to compare left to right sides so you know what is normal for that leg. Just like we did for the front limb, we can stretch the muscles on the inside of the dog's thigh, supporting under the hock and the stifle of the knee. We're just going to bring dog's leg away from the body and hold that stretch position for 30 seconds. And he's quite comfortable with that. Then, in stretching the muscles on the outside of the dog's thigh, we'll demonstrate on the leg that's underneath. We're going to support underneath the knee or the stifle and the hock, pop this leg out of the way, and stretch the dog's leg across the body, like so. And that's quite comfortable for Storm. He's happy to hold it there for 30 seconds. I'm changing assistance to my ever faithful Amani. She's our smallest Siberian Husky, for showing you some stretches for the neck and the back. As you'll see when I perform these stretches, they're similar to what dogs will often naturally do, just to scratch their hind limb or to clean themselves. But when dogs have a stiffness in their vertebral column, perhaps arthritis or an injury, they really do become limited in their ability to bend their neck and spine to one side. So doing these stretches regularly certainly helps their the musculoskeletal health of their whole vertebral column. Got her in sitting, and we've got a little treat there, and I'm just holding it there and she's licking that. So we're trying to stretch out all the muscles on this side of her neck, because I'm only going to just behind her shoulder, and I've kept her there, maybe not for 30 seconds, but that's enough to get a nice stretch of those muscles on the opposite side of her neck. To stretch the muscles all the way down along the back, it's a lot easier to have the dog in standing, and you'll see what happens here. We can get her to come all the way around towards me, and I'm holding that treat there, and she's getting a nice stretch all the way down to the muscles of her lower back. And now we're going to go all the way around to the other side, trying to keep her there with a treat. You can also do this with a favourite toy or a ball. You don't have to use treats, but that stretch is stretching all the muscles on the opposite side of her neck and back. So remember, the main effect of stretching is to change muscle length when we're doing the low load prolonged hold stretches. There are some other benefits such as changes in circulation, but the most important thing for you to take away from this tutorial if you're doing regular stretches with your dog is to be able to pick up if there's changes in length of the muscle or differences left to right, either in the leg stretches or the flexibility of the spine, because you may be able to nab an injury before it becomes a problem. But remember, these are just general stretches I have shown you today. If in doubt about anything, always consult your veterinarian or your animal physiotherapist. And I'll see you next time.